Tunji again from Ceasar Graphics. This is what we're going to be doing today. Yeah, I'm sure you'll like it. And let's jump into today's tutorial. The student came to me and he said the client asked him to do a mock-up of a label on a bread pack. And he said his challenge is making it look real. So I called him and I said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this. After teaching him, something came to my mind that there are some people who are also looking forward to learn how to do this. So I decided to do a tutorial for it.
Okay, so this is the label we're going to be using for this project. And I already have my mockup open, so let's start. So first I am going to bring in my label, so I'll drag this and drop here this way, and I'll reduce the size. Yes, this one here, somewhere here. Okay. Yes, so the next thing, I need to move it to this side. It's too close to the it's not the center of the bread. So I'm going to go to filter now and add liquify. All right, I'm going to add liquify to it. Okay, so just in case your liquify panel is looking different from mine, I'm using Photoshop CC 2017. And if your liquify panel is not looking like mine, don't worry. I'm not going to go into the I'm not going to touch the advanced part of the panel. I'm only going to play with the tool. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in with Ctrl space bar, and there's something I want to teach you here. Now if you look at the I'm going to position this side. So yeah, just in case your liquify panel is covering your project, you can move it to one side of your screen, like I have mine here now. You can even reduce the width just like this. All right, I think I've gotten to the last adjustment of my width. Okay, so the parts that we have the highlight should go down, all right, and the parts where we have the shadow should go up. All right, because that's how it is when we are looking at this in the real world. All right, when we're looking at this in the real world, it's going to look, that's what it's going to look like. So now I'm going to come here. Now I'm going to just do the size of my brush, and from here to here is white. So it's going to be from this side here to this side here. So I'm going to push this down this way, not too much. Please, when you're applying this tool, all right, don't overdo it. Okay, when you overdo it, to spoil the look of the label. So for this side that happen to be the shadow, I'm going to push it up. So but I'm going to reduce the size of my brush, because if you look at it here, I have the space for the shadow is not that big, it's not that wide. So for that, I'm going to reduce the size of my brush, and I'll push this side up this way. I'm going to push it up this way, just a little bit. Then here should go down, and here should go down. This. Push this down. So right there. Okay, that's it. Yeah, and for this side, I'm going to push it down. Like this. Come out just a little bit. Alright, and I'll hit Ctrl minus to zoom out. And for this side that I have this white, the highlight, I'm going to just increase the size of my brush, and I'll push that side in just a little bit, like this, just a little bit. And for this side, I'm going to do the same thing, because if you look at this side, I have this huge highlight there. So I'm going to push this into about this level, and I'll do the side of my brush just to have different look of pushing it in. And then the bottom part, I'll just push this in just of it. This. Alright, and you can even still go in here and then just, you know, play with this, but I think I'm okay with this, and I'm just gonna click OK. Now the next thing we're going to do is to start adding depth to this project. So I'm going to hide this layer, and first I'll create a new layer, and I'll call this highlights. Alright, call this highlight, and I'll hit OK, and I'll position this above the label layer, and I'm going to sample this side, alright, of my mockup layer. So I'm going to name it, I'm going to give it mockup. Okay, click here, and I'll go to select. Sorry, I said sample. I wanted to say make a selection. Alright, I'm going to make a selection, so I'm going to click on color range, and I have this on my screen, so I'll make sure this is checked, and I'll click here. Okay, now as you can see, I have the highlight everywhere. I have this fill, this kind of look of highlights. I have them selected here on my screen, or on my previous screen. So just in case your selection is not up to what you're looking at, you can always increase the fuzziness. So the more you increase the fuzziness, the more the level of the strength of your selection. So if I increase this now, you see is now touching the, let's say, 50% highlight on the layer. So but for me, I don't want it to get to that, so I'm going to just reduce this to something around 33 point, I guess. So I'm going to make it 33 points, and I'll just say okay. All right, now the reason why I have this zigzag fill on my highlight is because of the texture on the bread. So we have to make it smooth. We have to smoothen it. So to smoothen it, I'm going to make this visible. Now when I'm going to smooth it, I'll only apply it to the parts where I have my label, in order not to waste time on this. So I'm going to zoom in with Ctrl space and drag to zoom in, and I'll go to my tool panel and select the lasso tool, and I'll hold on shift. All right, so I'll hold on shift and I'll drag, start drawing. Now if you don't hold down shift, Photoshop would think you're trying to make a new selection on the layer. Alright, so it's going to delete the current one that you have there presently and give you the grace to make the new one. So but for me, I'm going to hold on the shift key on my keyboard. Nice. Now notice something I forgot to tell you. Now when I'm drawing, when I'm adding to the selected part, you notice I'm trying to connect the line of the highlight on the mockup to the selection I made. So but I'm sure you'll get the idea of why I'm doing this later. So I'm going to do the same thing here again. I'm just going to make sure I'm connected to this. So I'm going to do the same thing here. This. I'm going to do the same thing here. Nice. So for this side, I'm going to do the same thing. So call me again and I'll do the same thing again. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to just give it something here. Good. Now notice I have this. I have some quick selection on this side. and I don't want it. So what I'll just do is I'll hold down Alt and I'll draw a circle around them to take them out. Alright, for this one I need to add this. Good. Like this. Oh, sorry, should be plus, not minus. Instead of it, I'm supposed to hold down. Oh, sorry. Sorry. It should be this side. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm gonna hit Ctrl space bar. See, I think I'm cool with this. So now I'm gonna fill it with white. So my background color is white. So the shortcut for that will be Ctrl backspace or Command backspace for Mac users. And I'll hit Ctrl D or Command D. And now I'm gonna hold down Alt. All right, I'm gonna hold down Alt and position my my mouse cursor to be in between the label layer and the highlight layer. So I'm going to do, immediately you see this, it means Photoshop's telling you, okay, you're ready to clip it inside that layer. But if you don't see this icon I'm looking at here, don't even try to do what I'm about to do until you see this. So, and if you're not well positioned, if your mouse cursor is not well positioned, you're not going to see this. So I'm going to hold down Alt and I'll click, and now it goes inside that label layer. So now I'm going to reduce the opacity. Now reducing the opacity, there's something I wanted you guys to catch. Now you need to make sure that your reduction should blend with the highlight on the mockup. So I'm going to do that now, but before I do that, notice I have this little tiny touch of some parts that are not selected here. So I'm going to switch to right here and I'll select brush and I'll just add those parts. Right now, the reason why it's not going outside the label is because I have it inside the label. All right, so just follow me as I'm doing this. All right, so I'm going to just click on this and I'll reduce the opacity till I have that look of the highlight on the mockup. So I think it's cool for this side. So I'm going to zoom out now. Now as you can see, you'll notice that we're beginning to have that real look on the label. Alright, so the second thing I'm going to now do is to create a new layer again. I'm going to hold on Alt and click on the new layer icon, and I'll now hold this shadow. Then this time I'm going to hit OK, and I'll do the same thing I did on the highlight. So I'll hide these two layers, select the mockup, and I'll go to select again, select color range, and this time I'm only going to select this part. Alright, so I'm going to select this part and increase the fuzziness. Alright, okay, I think I'm cool with this, and I'll hit OK. Now I have the McQueen selection again around on my screen, so I'll make everything visible again, and this time I'll zoom in with Ctrl space bar. Now click on the shadow, go back to my lasso tool again and start drawing my selection like I did before. So I'm going to just draw the selection around here like this. Close it. Right, so like I said before, please don't forget to always hold down Shift. Alright, when you're adding your McQueen selection to your layer. And right now I want to take out some part of this selection, so I held down Alt, so that part is out. And for this side I'm going to hold on Shift. Sorry, I'm supposed to hold on Shift, not Alt. Right, and like this. Okay, again, and I'll do the same thing. Close it. So this here, this, and this. So I'm going to zoom out. Yep. So for this one, I'm going to sample a color. Alright, so I'll go to my eyedropper tool and I'll pick the darker part of my mockup, so which is here. Good. And I'll fill it with the color. I'll fill the shadow layer with the color, but for this time I'll hold down Alt backspace. Alright, then I'll hit Ctrl D or Command D to deselect, and I'll drag this and drop here like this. Now, so we are inside the label layer now. So for this one, what I'll just do is I am going to go to my blend mode and select overlay. Alright, now it's looking too strong on the layer, on the label layer, so I'm going to reduce the opacity to something around here. This is fine. So if I zoom out now, I should have this. Alright, so it's looking more real. Now it's not really looking like the way we want it now, because it's looking as if the bread and the label are printed together. So we need to do something that will split them, that will separate them. So what is that thing? It's called shadow. So if I click on the label layer now and I click on my FX icon here and I choose shadow, I should have my layer style panel pop up. So I'm going to go to shadow now. Then my distance is going to be 2, yeah, and my size is going to be, let's say, 8. Then I'll increase the opacity just a little bit. Alright, just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK, and yeah, so this is it. So we're cool now, and let's just do one more thing, and I'll call it over for this tutorial. So I'm going to hold on Alt and click on the new layer icon and call this BG, and I'll put this up above it and I'll call this one Mockup. Okay, so I'm going to fill this with white. So I'll fill it with white. So I'll come here and change this to white. So how do you switch colors? It's by clicking on this icon, or you use the shortcut, which is X on your keyboard. So I'll hit Alt backspace to fill it with white, and I'm going to scale this down. But there's one more thing I noticed again, because some of you may fall into the same issue. Alright, if you look at this side here, let's say I want to have a red line on this side, like a red bar. So if I want to have a red bar here, what I'll just do is I'll just draw a square like this, or yeah, and I'll sample a red color here. Then I'll create a new layer. I'll call this red bar, and I'll fill it with red. So how do I do that? Since my foreground color is red, so I'll hit Alt backspace on my keyboard, and I'm gonna hold down Control and select my mockup layer here. Now if you hold down Control and you don't see this box, this macro box on your cursor, don't click. So how do you make this? First you hold down Control and then you move your mouse to the thumbnail of your layer, and then you click to bring out the macro selection around it, and I'm going to click on the bar and I'm going to hit the add layer mask, add vector mask, sorry, icon here, and I notice I have this cut out parts and I don't want that to happen, so I'll break the connection between them and I'll hit Command T, sorry, select the thumbnail of the red bar, and I'll hit Command T or Control T to bring out the transform adjustment. If I don't do this and I move the red bar, it won't move the mask with the red bar. So if you connect it, notice what's going to happen here. So now if I move the bar, the red bar, you see the mask, the selection here goes with it. So that's the reason why I always break it and I always connect it back. So I'm going to leave this like this, and I'll go to my filter and select filter menu and select local file again, and like we did on the label, we're going to do the same thing here. So the red pushed out, then the white goes down. So red goes up like this and white down. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I am going to hide this layer now, and I'll go to, and let's create a new layer first. So I'll create a new layer. I'll call this highlights plus shadow. Alright, so I'm going to go to select color range, and I'll sample this. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. So now I'm going to make this visible. Then I am going to create, I'm going to add, I'm going to make this, I'm going to sample this color and I'll make it more darker. There's something around this range is fine. And I'll fill it with Alt backspace, and I'll hit Ctrl D to deselect, and I'm going to change my select my blend mode and choose overlay. Alright, and if you notice, it's affecting this side, so I don't want that to happen. So what I'll do now is I'll hold down Alt and just put it inside the red bar layer, and I think this is it. But if you think you still want to add more depth to this, you can always make a copy of the highlight and shadow by dragging and drop here. But when you do this, make sure this is inside the red bar. And how do you know if it's inside the red bar? You see this icon facing down on it, so you can reduce the opacity just in case you notice it's too much. So you can just make it go here like this. So I am going to close this now, and I will make a copy of it, and I'll make a new layer. And I'll call this shadow. Okay, and I'll draw a square here like this. Then make sure this is set to black, and I'll hit on backspace, and this should be the very last layer. And I'll click on filter, blur, and select Gaussian blur, and I'll reduce this to something around here like this. Oh, I need to push this up just a little bit. Good. So I'll make a new layer. I'll make a copy of it by dragging and dropping it on the new layer icon, and I'll call this shadow motion. Then I'll go to filter, blur, motion blur. Alright, yeah, so I'm going to close it more like this, and I'll hit OK. But for this one, I'm going to reduce the opacity just a little bit. Okay, so I'll zoom out now, so this is looking more real. So I'll select all the layers and reduce it just a little bit by hitting Ctrl T or Command T to bring out the adjustment panel. Adjustments, transform adjustments, excuse me. So I'm going to hit OK now, pushing this here now, and for this I'll hit Ctrl T or Command T, and I'll hit OK, and I'll right click and say 180 degree, and I'll flip it vertical, flip it horizontal, and I'll push this into somewhere around here like this, and it should be, this should be the very last layer. And I'll add vector max to it. Then I'll go to my gradient tool, and make sure when you're your gradient tool, you're on this color, black and white. How do you know if you want to change it? So just click on the icon, the gradient icon up here, and then choose black and white here, and hit OK. And the next thing I'm going to do now is I'll just click here, hold on shift and drag this out. Alright, so black delete and white visible. Alright, so I'm going to push it up again here, and I'll reduce the opacity. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. Alright.
I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you are new to my channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you like today's video, please remember to hit the like button below. Remember to hit the share button. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Peace out.